Welcome to Wisdom and Wealth, a channel dedicated to helping those over 40 navigate life with clarity and purpose. We delve into timeless philosophies, explore practical wisdom, and share insights to cultivate a richer, more fulfilling existence. Today, we're examining a core concept drawn from Zen and Buddhist teachings, the craving for approval and why true power lies in releasing that need. But before we dive in, if you find value in these teachings, please consider subscribing to the channel. It's a simple way to support us and ensures you won't miss future content designed to empower your journey toward a more meaningful life. So, click the subscribe button and notification bell to stay updated. A river never asks permission before flowing onward. The sun never seeks applause before faithfully rising, painting the sky with breathtaking color. A mountain never bends its majestic height to win the affection of the valley stretching gracefully below. Existence itself operates powerfully, gracefully, and independently, entirely without external approval. Isn't this a compelling thought? Yet the human heart, so often, craves the validation of others. Why does the mind become restless, even agitated, in its insatiable hunger to be liked, to be noticed, to be praised, and acknowledged? Zen and Buddhist philosophy eloquently teach that this relentless desire for approval is, in essence, nothing more than a chain. A chain that, although subtle, can be remarkably strong. This unseen chain relentlessly binds the mind, ultimately leading to suffering and discontent. It's a concept worth deeply contemplating as we navigate the later chapters of our lives. True and lasting power, the kind that sustains you through life's inevitable storms, does not arise from fleeting admiration or superficial acceptance. It arises from a deep and abiding inner clarity, from truly knowing one's essence, from standing unshaken and unyielding while the winds of judgment blow fiercely from every side. A genuinely powerful person is not powerful merely because others say so, showering praise and accolades. No, a powerful person is powerful because they have transcended the need for anyone's external validation, needing no words to confirm what they already know deeply and authentically within their own being. It's a liberating and profound truth to embrace as we mature and seek genuine fulfillment. As we delve deeper into this wisdom, remember to subscribe to Wisdom and Wealth for more insights into living a richer, more authentic life. The Buddha once sagely said, "One who conquers themselves is greater than one who conquers 1,000 in battle." What does this deeply insightful statement truly mean in the context of our daily lives? To conquer oneself is to courageously cut the very root of incessantly seeking the approval of others. It's to release the desperate, almost primal, grip of the ego that constantly whispers insidious suggestions like, be liked, be praised, be wanted, be validated. The crucial point to remember is that approval from others is inherently unstable, inherently fickle, and ultimately, an unreliable foundation upon which to build your self-worth and inner peace. One day they may clap and cheer with enthusiasm, and the next day, they may turn their backs, offering only indifference or even criticism. If your sense of worth depends entirely on the shifting sands of others' opinions, then your peace and contentment will inevitably vanish the very moment someone frowns, disagrees, or offers disapproval. But if, however, your worth rests upon a solid foundation of awareness, cultivated silence, and deep wisdom, then you become like the vast and expansive sky, vast, unshaken, and ultimately, untouchable by the transient storms below. Powerful beings never relentlessly seek approval because they deeply understand that approval is merely a reflection, often distorted, not a true and unwavering reality. To constantly chase the elusive goal of being liked is to abandon authenticity, to betray the very essence of who you truly are. To stand alone, firmly rooted in your own truth, is infinitely greater than being surrounded by a sea of false smiles and superficial platitudes. This reminds me of a story from a place without name or measure, where a young seeker walked cautiously among people who judged endlessly and relentlessly. They praised today with effusive enthusiasm and ridiculed tomorrow with equal vehemence. The seeker acutely noticed how their fickle and often cruel words carried the weight of heavy chains, restricting and binding. When praised, the seeker felt temporarily uplifted, experiencing a fleeting sense of joy and validation. But when criticized, even subtly, the seeker felt crushed, their spirit diminished, and their confidence shattered. Life became a demoralizing cycle of rising and falling, determined entirely by the shifting moods and capricious opinions of others. Overcome with exhaustion and a deep sense of unease, the seeker questioned, "Why do I so easily give my peace away? Why am I allowing others to dictate my self-worth?" An elder, known for their great stillness and inner wisdom, observed the seeker's turmoil and wisely said, "Approval is like a fleeting shadow. It faithfully follows you when light shines brightly upon you," the elder continued, "but it disappears completely when darkness comes, leaving you alone in the shadows. You cannot hold on to it, no matter how hard you try. If you chase it relentlessly, you will never find lasting rest or true contentment." The seeker, still troubled, asked, "But if I do not seek approval, will people not dislike me? Will they not reject me, leaving me isolated and alone?" The elder replied with unwavering conviction, "They may indeed reject you. They may even misunderstand you, failing to grasp the depth and complexity of your being. They may even fear you," the elder continued, "for truth can be unsettling to those accustomed to comfortable illusions. Yet in that rejection, you gain a freedom that surpasses all others. It is far better to walk alone in truth than to be carried along by the crowd's endless and ultimately unsatisfying hunger for masks and superficiality." From that day forward, the seeker began walking with a profoundly different spirit. No longer enslaved by fleeting smiles, no longer pierced by cutting frowns, but firmly rooted in inner clarity and unwavering self-acceptance. And in that newfound clarity, others began to respect the seeker, not because approval was sought, but because truth possesses its own silent and undeniable authority. Approval is inherently impermanent. In Buddhist teachings, the principle of impermanence, known as anicca, governs all aspects of existence. Opinions change as swiftly and unpredictably as clouds scudding across the sky. Today you are praised and admired, and tomorrow you are forgotten, replaced by another fleeting object of attention. To tie your identity and self-worth to such a fleeting and unreliable foundation is to tie yourself to instability and constant anxiety. A powerful person anchors themselves firmly in awareness, not in the shifting sands of public opinion. Attachment to approval is, without question, a root cause of suffering. The relentless craving for approval, tanha, in Buddhist terms, is a form of attachment, a clinging to something external for a sense of self-worth. When you desperately cling to being liked, suffering inevitably follows. For the moment you are disliked, criticized, or rejected, pain strikes deeply and acutely. By consciously letting go of the need to be liked, an incredible sense of freedom blossoms, allowing you to live authentically and without fear of judgment. Embrace authenticity over fleeting popularity. Zen masters teach the importance of simplicity, of living aligned with your truth, not with external appearances and manufactured personas. Approval-seeking inherently forces you to wear masks and play roles, obscuring your true self. To be truly authentic, one must be willing to disappoint others, to stand firm in your convictions even when they are unpopular. A powerful being values truth and integrity above fleeting applause and superficial accolades. Music, remember, silence often speaks louder than words. Powerful people don't waste precious energy defending themselves or attempting to win approval from those who are determined to misunderstand them. Their silence often confuses critics, disarming their attacks and inspiring a certain degree of respect. In Buddhism, silence is not seen as weakness or a lack of assertiveness. Instead, it is viewed as a sign of mastery over the restless tongue that seeks constant validation and reassurance. The crowd, swayed by fleeting emotions and superficial appearances, is often blind to the deeper truths. The majority does not always see or value what is genuinely important. If you seek approval from the crowd, you are essentially being guided by their blindness and limited perspectives. To be genuinely powerful is to walk in awareness, guided by your own inner wisdom, even if the crowd cannot follow or understand your path. Why do powerful people never try to be liked? One key reason is that they deeply understand the nature of the ego. The ego thrives and feeds on being liked, on receiving validation and affirmation from others. Powerful people starve the ego by consciously detaching from the opinions and judgments of others. 2. They choose influence over fleeting popularity. Being liked is often shallow and superficial. Influence, on the other hand, comes from depth, authenticity, and unwavering integrity. People may not always like the truth, particularly when it challenges their beliefs, but they cannot deny its inherent power. 3. Powerful people know that inner peace is infinitely greater than any form of outer praise. Praise is fleeting, external noise. Peace is a profound, internal silence. Powerful people consistently choose silence and inner reflection over the fleeting and ultimately unsatisfying noise of external validation. 4. They value genuine respect over superficial approval. Approval may often come from flattery, manipulation, or simply telling people what they want to hear. Respect, however, comes from authenticity, integrity, and consistent action aligned with your values. Powerful people always choose the latter. 5. They accept misunderstanding as an inevitable price of living in truth. A powerful person accepts being misunderstood because they understand that truth is rarely comfortable, and many people prefer to cling to comfortable illusions. They would rather be genuinely real and authentic than be superficially liked for a false persona. Zen and Buddhist philosophy reveals a powerful paradox: the less you actively seek approval, the more authentic respect will flow to you naturally. Those who constantly chase the elusive goal of being liked often live in a state of perpetual exhaustion, forever bending and contorting themselves to fit the expectations of others. Those who release the incessant need to be liked walk upright, steady as mountains, and vast as oceans. They do not seek approval, they simply embody truth. Do not beg for acceptance or plead for validation. Stand in unwavering silence, grounded in your own inner knowing. Live with clarity, guided by your own moral compass. Embody truth in your thoughts, words, and actions. Then, without any conscious effort, you will find that true power rests not in being liked by everyone, but in being unshaken, unyielding, and authentically yourself. Thanks for sticking with me on this journey of self-discovery. Let's close out by reminding you to subscribe to Wisdom and Wealth for more insights into living a richer, more authentic life. The earlier teachings have laid a solid foundation, highlighting the impermanence of approval, the suffering inherent in attachment to being liked, and the conscious choice of powerful beings to never seek the fleeting applause of the crowd. Now, let us expand this reflection into deeper layers, exploring the nuances of these profound truths so that they enter not only the mind, but also the heart. Music. Let us delve into the insidious trap of approval. Music. Approval is not love, although many people mistakenly confuse the two. Approval essentially says, I like you because you meet my conditions, because you conform to my expectations, because you validate my beliefs. Love, on the other hand, unconditionally says, I see you as you truly are, with all your strengths and weaknesses, without imposing any conditions on your worthiness. Approval is inherently fragile. It depends on the moods, expectations, and personal biases of others, making it an incredibly unstable foundation for your self-worth. When you live solely for approval, you are constantly dancing precariously on the edge of rejection, your every word and action meticulously calculated to please others. This is not freedom, it is, in reality, a subtle form of slavery. Buddhist philosophy refers to this form of slavery as upadana, or clinging, a grasping after what feels pleasant while simultaneously fearing its loss. When you cling to approval, your inner peace hangs precariously on the thread of other people's voices and opinions. When they withdraw their approval, even momentarily, you collapse inwardly, your self-esteem shattered. Powerful beings courageously step out of this insidious trap. They no longer measure their worth by the fleeting applause of others, but by the unwavering silence of their own inner clarity. To be liked does not necessarily mean to be respected. To be liked does not necessarily mean to be understood. To be liked does not necessarily mean to be valued for who you truly are. The crowd can superficially like you today and just as easily despise you tomorrow, swayed by fleeting emotions and misinformation. What is liked is often not the genuine truth of who you are, but the mask you wear, the persona you project, in order to satisfy their expectations and avoid their judgment. A mask, no matter how skillfully crafted, cannot endure indefinitely. Zen reminds us that when you wear no mask, you wear truth. When you wear truth, you need no audience to validate your worth. The powerful do not relentlessly try to be liked because they understand that being liked often demands a profound betrayal of the self, a sacrifice of authenticity on the altar of superficial acceptance. To bend constantly to win approval is to lose your spine, your essence, and your inherent dignity. The relentless craving for approval is essentially the ego's desperate cry for survival. The ego whispers insidious suggestions like, if they like you, you are safe. If they praise you, you are worthy. If they smile at you, you belong. But Zen wisely asks, safe from what? Worthy according to whom? Belonging in whose eyes? When examined closely, the ego's hunger for approval collapses under the weight of its own illusions. True safety is an illusion, for life is inherently uncertain. Worth cannot be bestowed upon you by another, it arises from within your own being. Belonging cannot come from external voices, it arises when you rest peacefully in your own awareness, accepting yourself fully and unconditionally. Powerful beings understand this profound truth. They starve the ego by refusing to chase the fleeting and ultimately unsatisfying illusion of approval. Instead, they cultivate inner silence, a sanctuary where worth is unshakable, belonging is boundless, and safety is found in freedom from dependence on external validation. Music, silence as a form of power. The weak constantly argue and plead for approval, desperately seeking validation from others. The strong, confident in their own truth, remain silent in the face of disapproval, understanding that their worth is not diminished by the opinions of others. A Zen master once wisely said, silence cannot be attacked. Words can be broken, twisted, and misused to manipulate and deceive. But silence stands unbroken, impervious to such attacks. When people seek to provoke you into defending yourself, to endlessly justify your actions and beliefs, they are subtly pulling you into their web of approval, seeking to control you through your need for their validation. If you fight for their approval, you inadvertently give them power over you. If you remain silent, however, you withdraw their hold over you, refusing to engage in their manipulative game. Powerful beings do not feel the need to explain themselves endlessly or to justify their existence to those who are determined to misunderstand them. They live so deeply and authentically in their truth that silence itself becomes their most eloquent language. Critics may shout, condemning and judging, but silence remains stronger, a shield against their negativity. Approval fades, but truth endures, its silent power resonating long after the noise of judgment has subsided. Approval can be bought through flattery, manipulation, and the pandering to others' desires. Respect, however, cannot be bought, it must be earned through integrity, authenticity, and consistent action aligned with your values. Approval can be gained by pretending, by wearing a mask and conforming to the expectations of others. Respect, however, cannot be gained through such deception, it requires genuine self-awareness and the courage to be yourself, even when it is unpopular. Approval can be lost in a moment, shattered by a single disagreement or misunderstanding. Respect, once earned through authenticity and integrity, outlives fleeting judgments and endures over time. Powerful beings never chase approval because they seek something far greater and more lasting, respect rooted in truth. They may be disliked by many who are threatened by their authenticity, but they are quietly respected by all who see clearly, by those who value integrity above superficial charm. Buddhism teaches that truth, or dharma, is timeless and unchanging. A lie may win you approval in the moment, providing temporary comfort and validation, but it will inevitably decay and crumble under the weight of its own falsehood. Truth may cost you approval in the moment, causing discomfort and perhaps even rejection, but it plants seeds of respect that grow unshaken and endure the test of time. consider the strength that can be found in being misunderstood. One of the greatest fears that many people harbor is the fear of being misunderstood, of having their words twisted, their intentions misread, and their pure actions cast in a negative light. To constantly defend yourself against such misinterpretations is exhausting and ultimately futile. But powerful beings accept misunderstanding as a natural and inevitable cost of living authentically in a world often clouded by ignorance and prejudice. They understand that truth is often uncomfortable, challenging people's deeply held beliefs and forcing them to confront uncomfortable realities. In these cases, people often prefer comfortable lies to the unsettling truth. Zen teaches that to be misunderstood is often a sign that you are no longer controlled by the common mind, that you have transcended the limitations of conventional thinking and are living according to your own inner wisdom. Instead of bending to seek approval or constantly defending themselves against misinterpretations, the powerful walk steadily on their path, allowing their truth to shine by itself, illuminating the darkness and inspiring those who are ready to see. With time, misunderstanding often dissolves as people begin to understand the depth and authenticity of your actions. Even if it does not, the powerful remain untouched by the opinions of others because they no longer need to be seen to be real. Their worth is not dependent on the validation of external sources, but on the unwavering truth within themselves. Imagine two doors before you. One door is labeled approval. Behind it lies fleeting applause, temporary validation, but also heavy chains that bind you to the expectations of others. The other door is labeled freedom. Behind it lies solitude, the potential for loneliness, but also the profound peace that comes from living authentically, unburdened by the need for external validation. Most people rush eagerly through the door of approval, desperate to be liked and accepted by the crowd. The powerful, however, step confidently through the door of freedom, content to walk alone if needed, knowing that true peace lies in self-acceptance and inner integrity. Buddhism refers to this liberation as nirvana, a state of enlightenment and freedom from suffering. Liberation is not an escape from the world or a denial of human connection, but rather freedom from the inner chains that make you a prisoner of opinion, constantly seeking validation from external sources. When you no longer seek approval, you move freely and effortlessly through the world. You speak your truth without fear of judgment. You act with conviction, unburdened by the need to please everyone. You rest peacefully, without the constant anxiety of wondering what others think of you. You become untouchable, not because the world praises you, but because it no longer has the power to wound you. Why do powerful people never try to be liked? Let us bring our reflection to a clear and concise conclusion. They do not try to be liked because they know that approval is unstable, fleeting, and ultimately unreliable as a source of self-worth. They do not try to be liked because truth matters far more than applause, and they are unwilling to compromise their integrity for superficial acceptance. They do not try to be liked because they understand that silence is often stronger than argument, and they refuse to engage in the futile pursuit of justifying themselves to those who are determined to misunderstand them. They do not try to be liked because respect endures, while approval fades, and they seek to build lasting relationships based on authenticity and mutual understanding. They do not try to be liked because freedom is infinitely sweeter than being accepted, and they choose the liberation of living in truth over the constraints of conforming to the expectations of others. The powerful choose inner peace over fleeting popularity, knowing that true fulfillment comes from within. In that conscious choice, they gain a strength that no critic, no opinion, no shifting crowd can ever take away. Zen and Buddhist philosophy teaches us that life is fleeting, like dew on grass, here for a moment and gone the next. To spend that fleeting life in relentless hunger for approval is to waste it in chains, sacrificing your authenticity and inner peace for the fleeting validation of others. To live in truth, even if disliked or misunderstood, is to breathe freely, walk lightly, and rest deeply, knowing that you are living in alignment with your own inner compass. The river does not pause to ask the stones if it may pass, the sun does not wait for approval to rise and illuminate the world, and the moon does not seek applause before shining its gentle light in the darkness. So why should you? Powerful people never try to be liked because they have discovered the deepest secret of all. When you no longer seek approval, you become one with truth, and truth, silent and eternal, is more powerful than all the applause in the world. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. This stuff has definitely helped me over the years and I wanted to share what I've learned. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Just click the subscribe button below and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Also, feel free to leave a comment and let me know what you'd like to see next. See you in the next video.